I will tell you a little bit about the history of the wooden shoe, and of course I will show you how we make them. Does everybody understand English?
Yeah.
Yes, everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, then we're going to start. The wood that we use is poplar, and one of the reasons we use this wood is because it's light wood, it's soft wood, and it's also wood that absorbs water, and that is necessary because otherwise it would break while we carve it. On the machine we have a mold, an example. That's this one. The wheel follows that example and makes an exact copy. It's sort of like making a duplicate of a key. Of course, the bigger the example we're putting in, the bigger the shoe is the machine will make. I will turn on the machines now, but I will ask you to be a little bit careful for your eyes because sometimes wood chops off. As you can see, the outside is done. We have the shape of your foot in there, and of course a left and a right shoe. People started wearing the wooden shoe in the 15th century. Now one of the reasons was that in the early days you have big families with a lot of children. Shoes in that time were very expensive, and this was a cheap way to have everybody wear shoes. Also, dirt, it was a big problem, and we used to have a special sock made out of leather to wear in the wooden shoe. When people got home, they walked into their house on these socks, leaving the shoes and thereby the dirt outside. Also, you can imagine that it protects your feet very well against everything. If a horse or a cow will step on your foot, you don't feel it. If there's glass or nails or anything else on the floor, if you step on it, it doesn't matter with a wooden shoe. So there were a lot of practical reasons to wear the wooden shoe. But besides all the practical reasons to wear a wooden shoe, there were also a lot of professional groups who had their own wooden shoes. This is an example of a sort of snow boot. You can see that the bottom is very wide, and it keeps, we had a sort of glayish underground here, and if you would wear these you wouldn't sink in the clay, sort of like a snow boot. So that's also a practical professional way to use it. But my favorites are these. If you look closely, you can see that the heel is at the front instead of the back. So these are turned around counterwise. But why? Well, these are worn by smugglers. In the early days, a smuggler mostly worked from a beach. We all know that if you walk on the beach, your footprint stays behind in the sand. So you're easy traceable. A few people are getting it already. Of course, smuggling is not allowed, so there's a good chance that the police comes looking for you. So you're walking on the beach and your footprint is going that way. So the police follows you that way. But you are not walking that way, you're walking in the opposite direction. So bye-bye to the police because they never find you. I'm gonna ask you though, not to tell this to anybody else because I wear them and I don't want to be found by the police. So thank you for not telling. Okay. The next 3 machines you see, they cut out a part of the inside of the wooden shoe. And for a shoe size we use centimeters. On here you see the number 14. 14 stands for a certain shoe size. Again here, the higher the number, the bigger the shoe is the machine will make. Please be careful for your eyes again. Is done too now. I will not show you the other 2 machines. You don't miss anything because they do exactly the same. They just cut out more and more of the inside until we have an exact shoe size. This is how they look after machine 1. After machine 2, as you can see, just a little bit more of the inside has been cut out. In the early days, before there were machines, everything had to be done by hand. Don't think it's easy though, because it takes 5 years to learn how to make a wooden shoe by hand. It also was a profession that went from father to son. Unfortunately, it's a dying profession because nobody wants to learn this anymore, like all these skills. Okay. I'll show you another way to use a wooden shoe. I don't know if any of you ladies wants to get married or maybe a man wants to propose to a woman. Well, you can give her these because these are wedding shoes. In the early days it went like this. The man would carve the shoe for the woman. When she accepted the shoe, she accepted his proposal to marry. So, I don't know man if you are good with your hands, but then you can wear these and they were worn by the bride and the groom on the wedding. And you can also do the wooden shoe dance, because in Holland we have a dance especially for the wooden shoes, and it's sort of like tap dancing because it's about the sound that the shoes make. You can make a lot of noise with these. Then on the wall we have the whole process. I started out with this log, I made the outside, the inside. When we're at this stage, they need to dry for 2 weeks. Why do we dry them? Well, in the beginning I told you that this wood absorbs water. Oh, watch this. Oh. You see, when I blow, there's water coming out. That's because we put the logs in the water until we use them. So that's also why we have them hanging here to dry. Excuse me, I need to dry first. I love this part, my most favorite part. Every day again. Okay, and when they're dried, after these 2 weeks, then we take sandpaper, we finish them, we polish them. Once we polish them, the wood closes and then they don't absorb water anymore. And we have the final product. We all know that's a wooden shoe that looks like this. If you want to try on a pair yourself, always make sure you take at least 1 size bigger. than your normal shoe size, because you need to be able to put your fingers like this behind your heel. A wooden shoe is not like a normal shoe, should not fit exactly, needs to be a little bit too big so you have enough space for 2 fingers behind your heel. Now, I wear a wooden shoe because I think they're comfortable, orthopedic and healthy for your feet. But I also wear them because I think they're incredibly sexy. Yeah. I always wear them with 2 pairs of socks, a thin and a thick pair. And as you can see, I have this space behind my heel. So always look as sexy as I do and get a pair of wooden shoes. Okay, that is what I can tell you about the wooden shoe. I thank you for your attention and I wish you a nice afternoon. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.